Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. Live, dead, lies.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast live. I'm your host, Sam Johnston.
And I am Leslie, apparently bringing you your live show.
Well, Leslie and I started this about 6 months ago. We've been recording for 27 weeks straight of the Deadlights pod.
Yeah.
And now we're here on our first live show.
Yay!
Thank you everyone so much for being here at the live show. A lot of you have been guests on the show, have been fans for a very long time and big supporters. So first of all, thank you to all of you for being here and for listening to the show.
Yay! Round of applause.
Round of applause. And today, as always, we watched a horror movie.
What? I thought it was going to be comedy.
We watched a horror movie. And I thought, you know what? What better to start a live show than with a classic horror movie?
You did say you wanted a cult classic.
I wanted a cult classic. And we have the cult here, ready to watch it. And we watched The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974.
Whoa!
Directed
Lots
by
of that.
Tobe Hooper and written by Kim Henkel.
Good job.
5 friends head out to rural Texas to visit the grave of a grandfather. On the way, they stumble across what appears to be a deserted home, only to discover something sinister within. Something armed with a chainsaw. Oh.
I mean, I didn't hear that chainsaw at all.
Not at all.
No.
No, nothing at all. I mean, general notes, I guess, about the whole movie is auditorily, wow.
Invasive.
Invasive. Yes.
Invasive. At all. I just needed it to shut up.
And that was definitely something that I've always go back to with this movie is the sound is just like in your face, in your ears the entire time.
How many times have you seen this?
I don't know. Too many.
Too many?
Yeah.
I don't want to see this ever again.
I watched this movie because I always, during October, I always watch 31 horror movies.
Right.
Every single day. It's my thing. And so 2 years ago, I watched this movie as one of the first movies in October. And that was the one thing I remember thinking of, like, oh my God, like this movie is so loud.
It's
like,
loud.
It actually is like almost torturous.
It is.
So, like,
you're right there with her being tortured.
And
it's
I mean,
not fun.
It's not fun. It's not fun. And thinking about our mode of killing, a chainsaw, you know when it's coming. You can't avoid the noise of that chainsaw coming at you at all.
I mean, it is 2022, so there might be more Bluetooth-based chainsaws.
It's still loud in my belief. It's still loud. Like no matter how you put it, it's loud. You know, the chainsaw is going to be a loud weapon of death. You know, so.
He was dancing with it, so I don't think he was using it the most appropriate way. He was like doing this movement. You don't do that with the chainsaw. You do this kind of movement, you know?
He seemed to know how to use it, though.
I don't think so. He was squealing like a pig
This is true.
as well.
This is true. Yeah, Leatherface, our main villain, he was the one wielding the chainsaw and dancing with
At the
it,
end.
I guess. And
All I hear in my mind is, I'm a maniac on the floor.
And I'm chainsawing like I've never chained before.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But this is one of the OG slasher movies of the genre, for sure. Just to start off, I mean, it was definitely the 80s is a time of slasher movies. But this is 74, so this is very much before slasher movies are even coined as a term. So this is like one of the, I think, like forefathers of slasher movies.
Oh, damn.
It would be, I think Leatherface would be on the Mount Rushmore of slasher movies.
Okay, what are the other three?
I would say it would be Leatherface and Freddy and Jason and Michael.
Ah,
That's mine.
our founding fathers.
Our forefathers. Ow. But really, like, this is almost 6 years, half a decade before the slasher genre has even been coined, and they're essentially making a slasher film.
Do you think this is because the serial killer term is being brought about during this time, during the early 60s, maybe even late 50s, but they still didn't want to think that there were serial killers?
Definitely, we're coming into a time in our society where there is much more of a acknowledgement of serial killers, or this different kind of killer that society hadn't even thought of before. So there is this fear, definitely, of the unknown and of the depravity of man. I think has come into a different cycle than it has before in history. And this movie specifically is very interesting in the way of how it deals with the outcasts of society. These people that are the villains of this movie and the killers of this movie are the outcasts. They are rural, working class people who have been kind of outcasted because of their jobs. And they have been outcasted because their jobs aren't even relevant anymore. They're almost of like an older generation. So, and we also have a character who is in a wheelchair the whole time, who is definitely an outcast of society. So this movie for sure is dealing with the outcasts and what happens, almost like what happens in a horror genre when we outcast people. Like the worst of the outcasts is coming out in this film. And we also see it within our main character core. You know, we have a person who is an outcast of society, just being in a wheelchair in general. And we almost sympathize with that person the most out of this whole movie.
I mean, everywhere they went, they needed to cater towards this person, whether they wanted to or not. And then they went into that abandoned house, which he couldn't travel on his own. There was only stairs, and he couldn't go up, and he just heard people laugh. When I first saw this movie, I thought people were dying. So, I don't know. I don't know what was so funny about that house.
I mean, they were having a good time.
I don't know.
Shadows in that house. They were having fun.
Let's see, bro.
Poor Franklin. I mean, and that's the character that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Franklin is the wheelchair-bound character of our core main characters that we're following through this whole movie, and I at least feel like I always sympathize with him the most out of all of these characters.
Yeah, the second time around, at first I thought he was annoying, and then the second viewing, I definitely was a little bit more sympathetic.
But, I mean, the other characters within this group also do, at some points, find him annoying.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
I also find everybody annoying because their acting sucks.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what they're trying to portray emotionally. It's just so blank. I'm like, okay, are you sad? Are you angry? Are you annoyed? Give me something else.
It at least felt like, though, Franklin was separated. The entire film, he was separated from everybody else that was in that van, everyone else that's in the world around him, solely because he was in a wheelchair, first of all, but also he was the one who was questioning things.
He was the one.
Should we do this?
It's like, is that a sign, y'all? Like, he put blood on our van Is he coming to get us? That's a legit question.
Yeah. And after seeing the results of this movie, they should have listened to Franklin a lot sooner than this.
Yep.
And so what I think is the almost like brilliance of this movie is that we are seeing the outcasts of society, because so we have Franklin, who is wheelchair bound, just an outcast just because of his disability no matter what. And then we also have this family that we stumble upon in this movie, unfortunately, for our characters, that were rural, working class people in slaughterhouses. And they were operating when slaughterhouses were just hammers. And they were just hitting cows on the head. They weren't using that gun that goes straight to the brain. They were bonk, just hitting them over the head. And that was their job. But then this new technology comes out with the stun gun and the slaughtering.
There still needs to be somebody operating that. It's not like there was robots that just were...
True. There is that one person.
That's still murder.
Yeah, well...
It's
yeah.
not as violent, yeah, but like it's still...
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do
but
it.
It takes less people. I think that's the point, is that it takes less people to like be hitting people over their head. And so...
People?
Yeah, people. Well...
Cows?
No, not...
Cows are people too.
No.
Thank you.
But these people that were killing these cows, and with this hammer, were all put out of work. They're all put out of work.
Okay. I guess I don't know how slaughterhouses work. How many people does it take to kill a cow?
Well, if you have one person with a hammer, it takes a lot more to kill a cow than it does with one person with this air gun going in.
Yeah, okay. But like, is it like a regular hammer?
Yeah.
Like one that you hit nails with in a
I think
house?
you bring your own hammer.
You bring your own hammer from
I'm
house.
assuming it's BYOH. Bring your own hammer kind of job. I mean, hey.
No wonder you turn murder.
The weight and girth is
Yeah.
up to you, however you kill best.
That's why Grandpa did it best, I guess.
Grandpa had the best hammer.
Oh,
He was the best killer.
He had a mallet.
Had a mallet.
That's mallet ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, well, but he was the best killer. And that's the kind of the thing about this movie is like, so he was the best killer, and he was the best of his time. And I think this movie is a little bit about like, we have an older generation, an older way of doing things that is a little bit being left behind in the future of this air gun or whatever they have.
I mean,
And these people, and even that hitchhiker says, like, hey, like, the best way to kill is with the hammer. It's not the best way to do it with the air gun.
what's his name?
Hitchhiker.
Hitchhiker with the birthmark?
Yeah, birthmark hitchhiker.
Birthmark
Burn my
hitchhiker.
hair. Burn my hair. Yeah, that's what
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
called. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, no, I think that they are, this family of cannibals or whatever, are a little bit being left in the past of where the future is moving. And I mean, they don't have jobs. They're not working at the slaughterhouses anymore because they think the best way to kill people is with a hammer.
But they do have, at least presumably the dad. Is that the dad?
He seems like more of an uncle.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
Crazy uncle.
uncle type. He
type.
is working at the gasoline
Yep.
marketplace.
Well, and the gasoline marketplace. Well, and yes, for sure. He is definitely of the family, kind of this like businessman, capitalistic kind of representation that we have going on, because he is kind of a slave to making money. He's the cook. He's the cook. He's only a cook, and they even say that multiple times. You're only a cook.
But because he said that he didn't want to murder.
He didn't want to kill, but he wants to cook the meat and make money off of the meat. And he also has a moment too where he goes and flips off the lights because he needs to save money.
Yeah.
He's essentially like a victim of capitalism because he really is. He really is.
I mean, I guess
Because he's a slave to money.
I guess I definitely side with him. Yeah, and don't touch your mic.
Don't touch your mic.
I definitely side with him because as he was getting into the car, I was like, "Sir, you have not closed or turned off the lights." And then even though my second viewing, I forgot that he goes back and closes the door and shuts the lights
We're
off.
all victims of capitalism. Because we're all thinking, turn off your lights, man.
Yo, turn off your lights if
Turn
you're
off
not
your
in
lights.
the room.
Save some electricity.
Yeah.
Don't turn off this podcast if you're watching it, but turn off your lights. No, but
Good one.
honestly, yeah, honestly, like all he cares about is money. All he cares about is money.
Yeah. I mean, if you say that he is the, like, generation of which is being shut off from this hammer smashing, cow killing job,
Yeah.
he turned into gasoline.
Mm-hmm. Which is the big moneymaker of society, and gasoline is going to be like.
But he didn't even have any gas.
He didn't even have gas.
He didn't even have a phone.
Yeah,
How is he
true.
gonna know that the gas is coming?
You know what he did have though? A Coke machine. Coke will always be around.
Coca-Cola, y'all. We're sponsored by Coca-Cola. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think this is our perfect opportunity while the crowd is turning against us
You turning against you.
to have our first volunteer
Ooh.
on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
You
I forgot to
yeah.
grab the bucket over here. So
Go
I'm gonna
bring the
grab
bucket.
it.
Oh no, no worries.
No, no worries. Here it comes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a lot of volunteers in this bucket. A lot of volunteers. So when I call your name, I will give you the mic, and you're going to be on the show. So good luck.
Where's the mic?
Adam D.
Adam D. All right, here's your microphone.
Yep.
Thank you.
He has to come.
Do I go back?
You can go ahead.
Okay. I'm back.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all.
He's like, I'm gonna come up to you.
No. You go back. Sit down.
Yeah, no, you can-
Hey, it's your man of your dreams and nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam D, you've been a guest 3 times on our podcast so far, and many more times on the 31 days.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
You let this guy in?
Always.
First of all, how do you like the movie?
Oh God. Oh, so we watched with the 31 days. We watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I had not seen the first one or any of them before, and it was a lot. And then a lot of the same scenes happened in this number one, which I guess is a pattern for low budget horror. You got your Evil Deads, where it's just basically the second one's a remake of the first one. So just a lot of screaming, a lot of chainsaw noises, but I guess I didn't know what else to expect. A lot of Grandpa hit her on the head with the hammer scene. And I gave that movie, when we watched it for 31 days, maybe 2.5 stars.
I think you did.
And I think I do 3 stars for this one, just because it feels more like they're coming up with the ideas here instead of like we're giving people what they want, which is chainsaws and hammers.
Which I looked up before we started the movie. This was in '74. The second one was in '86. So 12 years have gone by since this first one to the second one.
Yeah.
Which that happens a lot, I guess.
I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah. I never saw the first one, and then you
Thank
grew up and
you.
you saw the
I
second
know we
one.
saw the
There's a
second one.
fan
Yeah.
in the crowd.
Finding Dory, right? And another one.
That was like 20 something.
The Incredibles 2.
And The Incredibles 2. That
It
was more than 12 years.
They all live in a film canon together.
A big one.
Yeah.
A big one.
Texas Chainsaw, Dory,
Anyway,
Incredibles.
thank you for being on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me. You want your mic back?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to answer some trivia questions?
Sure.
All right.
The first one?
All right. Here we
Thank
have
you.
a couple categories actually
Thank
for
you.
you to pick from. We have whose tagline is it anyway?
Uh-huh.
We have specifically Texas Chainsaw Massacre trivia, and also if you want to try your luck, general horror.
Oh.
Which one would you like to do?
Oh,
We
gosh.
know you love games here.
I love games. So
Yeah.
I took notes on this movie. So I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
All right.
I might be
All right,
I
here
might
we
be
go.
most prepped for.
All right, you are most prepped for it. All right.
Okay, you-
So Leslie pretty much already saw the answers, but Leslie's gonna be your lifeline if you can't get one of the
Oh,
answers.
I can't phone a friend in the crowd?
No.
Dang
no.
it.
I
Leslie's your
did
lifeline.
read it,
And your fiance.
You read it? You did it,
But
but she didn't.
no,
she did
I didn't
not
retain
gather.
anything.
Great.
Yikers.
But I am here for you.
I feel it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give Adam a round of applause to give him some life. All right. You're gonna get 3 questions. If you get 2 out of the 3, you're gonna get an awesome prize.
Oh, wow.
But if you don't get the 2 out of 3, we'll probably also give you the awesome prize.
Okay.
no matter what.
I'll
So,
still give
not
you a
much pressure.
prize.
All right. So here comes your Texas Chainsaw Massacre trivia.
Uh-huh.
Question 1. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre had several working titles. Which of these is not one of them?
This is not in my notes.
Leatherface, The Slaughterhouse Murders, Saturn in Retrograde,
Oh.
or Head Cheese? Which one is not a working title?
Well, did you give me 3 or 4?
I gave you 4.
Okay.
Leatherface, The Slaughterhouse Murders, Saturn in Retrograde, or Head Cheese? Which one is not a working title?
I want to say Leatherface.
Wrong.
Dang it.
The Slaughterhouse Murders was not a working title. Head Cheese, Leatherface, and
Dang.
Saturn in Retrograde were all working titles.
The thing is, they never say Leatherface in the movie.
They don't.
No one ever mentions Leatherface at all. I don't know why they came up with that.
Or fucking, what did you say? Head cheese?
Yeah,
They do mention head cheese. I got that note. I did get that
And
note.
also Saturn in Retrograde, they do say as
They
well.
mention
Yeah,
that
they
too.
say that a lot.
I guess the murders weren't in a slaughterhouse.
See, I got you.
Ah.
I got you. All right. Hey, question 2. What famous modern horror director became a vegetarian after seeing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh.
Became a vegetarian after
Yeah.
seeing this movie.
Yeah.
Which some of you might.
Oh, no guess. I just have to throw it out. No hints. It's not in my notes either, Sam.
Modern horror director.
Del Toro.
You got it!
What?
Toro became a vegetarian after seeing this movie.
Wow.
I know.
Amazing.
Isn't that
He
crazy?
has it. Wow.
That's great. Great guess.
We love Del Toro.
I should get a
Absolutely.
prize. Dang.
Hey, you 1 out of 2.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
All right, and last question. How many people were actually killed by a chainsaw in this movie?
Is that in your notes?
No.
Is that
Oh. Was curly hair guy killed by a chainsaw?
his name was
What was his
Jerry?
name? Jerry. Jerry? Jerry? Jerry?
Jerry!
Oh my God! Is it 1 or 2? Is it 1 or 2?
50%, brother.
Oh boy. I want to say. Oh God! how was Jerry killed? He walks in.
Jerry.
He walks in.
Jerry.
Lifeline? Oh, lifeline.
Lifeline.
Lifeline. Call my lifeline.
Yeah, I'm
Leslie,
right here.
do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yes. How many were killed with a chainsaw? I'm gonna guess one.
You got it! Unfortunately, it was Franklin, the guy in the wheelchair, which pretty gruesome.
Oh my God. Also, the chainsaw, you said you could hear it coming. Didn't hear that one coming.
Nope.
It came out of nowhere. Chainsaw suddenly.
This is a surprise chainsaw.
Wow.
Hey, Adam, congratulations. You won.
Thank you.
And you will get a beautiful coaster or shot glass or koozie of your choice, of your choosing at the end of this. So,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for Adam. Give me your microphone.
Thank you, y'all.
Give me the microphone.
Give me your microphone.
Yay!
Good job.
Good job, Adam.
Good job. Good job. Wow. Wow.
Wow. He did great.
He did pretty good.
Yeah,
This is a good first guess.
absolutely.
He did
The
great.
second one was phenomenal.
So speaking of Adam, we should probably talk about how they made this movie.
Uh-huh.
I just want to talk a little bit about the actual filmmaking of this movie, because a lot of this movie, we don't see a lot of blood.
No.
We don't see a lot of blood. We don't see a lot of actual like knives or hooks going into people. It's mostly sound effects,
Yep.
and it's a lot of sound
We
effects.
only see one actual gruesome kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is just kind of torturous, auditorily. So, yeah, you're right. How
Yeah.
was this made?
I mean, it was made with a crew of about 3 people.
3?
Yeah, it was the director,
You,
me, and Dupree, and it was really the director and one camera op and the sound guy that was on set that was making this movie. So it was very low budget.
Okay.
Especially for 1974.
I
And-
have a question.
Yes.
Was the sound guy deaf?
Yes.
Okay.
He had to be.
Because goddamn.
I mean, that's part, almost all of the horror of this movie is the sound.
Yeah.
It's like this, almost like you already said, like auditorily torturous sound that we have coming through this entire movie.
Someone said, I'm not going to point who, but they were like, oh my God, why isn't there like a soundtrack playing at the end? And I was like, we need silence right now. We've been tortured enough for like the last, 25 minutes of the film?
Yeah.
Just sound. I
Sound.
turned around and I was like, Adam, from this point on, you'll hear nothing but sound. And
Yeah, 'cause
I wanted to leave out of the...
It goes from that like intense chase scene through the woods into the house with the dinner scene, which is just screaming. Essentially, everyone's screaming. And some of them
howling and screaming.
are howling,
Yeah.
screaming, and then it ends with being chased by a chainsaw again. So it is just like this. You're right. The last 25 minutes is just this auditory torture that we have to go through, which goes back, I think, to like the actual chainsaw. You know that we are. This is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we are getting tortured by this sound of machinery.
Well, even when Kurt and... What's her name? Grace? No. The girlfriend of Kurt? Pam, thank you. Kurt and Pam go and they're like having their little like gay moment. They're trying to like find the
Watering hole.
water.
Let's go swim in the watering hole.
And then they land at the house,
So-
and then they get killed.
Even that.
What was my...
Well, I'm gonna pick up where you're
Okay.
leaving off. The chicken in that scene of like,
Oh.
it's almost like the chicken is the thing that gets them into the house, because they hear the chicken and it's like the clucking, but also it almost sounds like laughing at some points.
yeah.
So for them to like go into the house, and we get obviously the first kill with Jerry, Kurt, and that's a very like surprising hit on the head. He's like brought into the house because of the chicken. And also, so is Pam. She's brought into the house because she hears the chicken too, and she follows that noise and goes into the room of like all of the bone furniture, feathers on the ground, bones hanging from the ceiling. I mean, I think that the production design is amazing
in that room,
in the house.
Oh no, they showed us for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw it.
We were like, in this corner, in that corner,
We
this
have
corner.
a human couch, and then we have a human chair, and then we have bones hanging. Oh wow, that's a nice.
And back to the chicken.
And back to the chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that scene when she like finally falls into the house. We get a pretty good sense of, oh shit, these are not the people that we want to fall into.
No.
For sure.
What was, I remember now what I was going to say. The generators, they were a foreboding sound effect for the saw. And it was so loud.
Because that is what brought them to the house originally.
Because they thought that it
heard-
was like oil or something
Yeah, because
like
they
that?
needed gas for their car.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh shit, they have gas because they have generators, so we should go. That's where safety is.
I did not know that generators meant oil.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Fill up my
I
gas.
guess.
Get out of my dreams and get in my car.
Oh God, okay.
Leatherface.
Beep beep.
Beep beep. And that eventually led them to their downfall. You know. So, the sound I think is just like, that's always what I think of when I think of this movie is the sound,
Yeah.
because we see very little blood. We see very little actual cutting of people, but we hear a lot. We hear so much of what's going on in this movie, and it becomes incredibly uncomfortable by the end, and you just want it to stop. Really, you do.
You said that the last girl being hit in the head, you know, when it was like, hit her, Grandpa.
Get her, Grandpa.
That scene. You said it lasted 27 hours.
Yes, that scene of that final dinner scene of them was a 27-hour shoot in the hot Texas summer in August, and the meat that was actually on the table was real meat.
Yikes!
So it was cooking
Ew!
as they were like filming that and just smelling terrible. And
You mean rotting as opposed to
Rotting.
cooking?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as an actress, I wouldn't be wanting to scream for 27 fucking hours.
That's pretty impressive that like these actors were able to keep that intensity of over 27 hours.
That's torturous, because the only one that's doing it is a woman. And it's like, she's being tortured.
Yeah.
And then she's just being tortured all around.
Just all around.
27 hours, that's too long.
That's a lot.
What other scenes took that long?
I mean, I always think of The Shining, where it's Shelley Duvall going up the stairs with the bat against Jack Nicholson, and that was notoriously long, of like 23 hours of her doing that. And then by the end, she's just so drained from all those takes that we finally get the take of her being in the movie, which is like over 100 takes, you know?
Ugh.
It's just wearing you down to actually being desperate, you know?
No, absolutely. And I guess I kind of understand it through a directive's point of view, but as a person who is employed as a server at a restaurant,
No.
I don't want to be serving 100 fucking tables. You know what I'm saying?
And you never should. You never should.
Quit your job.
Quit your job if you're a server.
No, but that's what it's no. You should trust that your actor can get to that point, and if they don't, please get them there before the fucking reasonable hour. Like
And we're
27 hours?
Well, and we're talking about a time too where we're not recording on SD card that's this big. We're recording on film. We're recording on
A disc
actual
this
film that you have to take off every fucking time and replace it. Like the amount of actual film that they have of all those takes is miles long.
My mother told me that when she was in college, a computer was maybe the size of this room.
Yeah. So think about the film. They didn't even have a computer that big.
Just like ginormous.
Huge, massive, crazy. And I
yeah.
mean, some of those actors, I think, whether it was good or not, probably lost their sanity in some ways.
Absolutely.
To get to that point.
They only
that scene, that last dinner scene, is absolutely insane.
It's torture for me.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine her
Yeah.
in that, you know. The grandpa, I would want to be casted as a grandpa, you know.
Grandpa was actually a 17-year-old boy.
What?
Yeah, that was just put in that old face, which
In a wheelchair?
I know. Well, there's multiple people in the wheelchair in this movie, but Grandpa had to be put through makeup for 7 hours every day, and then had to go on set on scalding hot Texas August sets
So it
with
was
that makeup on.
Peeling off anyway.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was not comfortable for any of those actors. So getting into the mindset of actually going crazy on the set doesn't seem that difficult.
No.
Unfortunately.
No.
Which, makes a good movie or not, but it definitely added to the horror of this movie, for sure. And I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to go to our next guest
Nope.
volunteer.
There you go.
All right. Let's see who else we got. Huh? All right, who's gonna be the lucky?
Me.
Yeah, you pick it. You pick it.
So many names in here.
Oh my God.
So many people here.
Oh my God. Tommy Lee?
Tobe
Is he here?
Lee. Uh-oh. This guy down here.
Tommy.
Tommy Lee, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Incredible.
First of all, how do I know you?
I know you a long time.
Yes.
You're my son.
Oh.
You are my son.
Why?
At least
Dad?
that's what I've been told. I've been told.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast,
And
Dad.
this is the first time we've met.
Yes. Wow.
That's not true.
So, what do you think about the movie?
Well, so
You've never seen it
I really,
before, right?
it's the first time I've seen the original movie.
Cool.
I really appreciated the fact that they hired the Six Flags guy to be Grandpa.
He's still working.
Right.
He's
I thought that
still
was good. I was also impressed by, despite his physique, Leatherface could run.
Yeah.
I mean, where there was about 5, 6, 7 miles that they were running through that forest there. The aerobic capacity of those actors was incredible.
I mean, he was all protein diet. So,
Yeah, that's true.
he's
I like that as well.
Yikes.
Yeah, I need an Advil.
All right.
I have a headache,
That's
I
fair.
think, from all the screaming.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, though.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, in a
You
weird
enjoyed
kind of headachy way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I enjoyed it.
We converted you, huh?
You know, you have to appreciate it for what it is, right? It was a cult
Yeah.
classic. And by the way, I did research. I was curious. First thing I wanted to do was look at the reviews for that movie. So I, looked it up really quick. And I didn't get a whole lot of reviews, but the reviews I saw were really great. It was banned in many movie theaters across the world, but that movie actually grossed, 1974, $30 million.
Whoa.
Equivalent to $150 million by today's standards. I believe.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Pretty good.
Wowza.
America was ready for Leatherface
Yeah.
and that. So
For
it
a
actually did
chainsaw.
really well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I keep talking about. It was almost a zeitgeist of America at that
Right.
time.
Yeah.
We're out of this rural kind of. We're all in the cities now.
Right.
We're all kind of scared of what's going on in the rural setting now in deep Texas. What's happening out there? What are these people doing now that they don't have these slaughterhouses? $150 million later.
Never been seen, right? I mean, this was like a first-time thing for for most people. This kind of movie. I mean, by this point we've seen all kinds of things in cinema. But think about that time, 1974. And you're watching this movie. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think I like this, but that scares me that I like this. You know, I mean, it had to be a strange movie-going experience for anybody that was watching that movie.
Did you think it was going to be more bloody than it actually is?
I did, yeah.
I thought so too.
So I do have a question though. What happened to, was it Jerry? I thought he escaped.
I mean, Jerry
Even
got
Leatherface couldn't find him either, right?
He got
he
hit
hit him
by
on the head, and then he like freaked out. He was like,
I'm
Oh,
like,
okay. I thought he got away.
oh no.
Nah.
Okay, I missed that. Okay, so
And
he's
he
dead
was
too.
looking for more people. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I already got 2.
Right.
There's a third one.
Yeah.
Is there more outside my house?
Right.
That's like that one moment in the movie where I'm like, oh my god, Leatherface is like actually freaking out about
Yeah.
like, who are these people who are coming
Right.
onto my property? Like, what the? He's like, kind of like really having an anxiety attack of like, who else is coming here? Like, this is yeah, you're right. That's a third person that day that has come onto their property that he's had to kill, and he has a slight panic attack of like, do I have to like protect my land even more?
So did you get the impression that this was a common sort of occurrence where they would kill people or that just these people showing up to their home was a kind of a first time thing for
I think the indication is the cars.
the cars, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered about.
Yeah. I mean, it's the 70s. People would hitchhike. They would just stay in people's random house.
Right.
Because they're traveling across the country. So they would probably just like see this home that's well kept and then get killed immediately.
Right.
So
That was definitely the implication that there was definitely a lot of people there before, for sure,
And Volkswagen Bugs.
and a lot
Yeah.
of Volkswagen Bugs.
lots of hippies.
But they never. It was interesting. What I always find interesting about this movie is that they never seem like they're seeking them out. It's like these people just kind
kinda
of
show
come
up.
to them,
Yeah.
no matter what. It's like this, almost like this fly to the light kind of thing. This interest in
Right.
what are they doing out there? Let's go venture into the rural world and see what we can find. And they're unfortunately the victims of these people.
And you know, as loud as that movie was, I thought that the extreme close-ups were more extreme than extreme. You know, I
eyeball?
wonder your thoughts on that and sort of the idea behind those extreme close-ups.
Well, it's definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you're getting that close into someone's eye, you're like, we all felt uncomfortable in that way. And also, especially with that last dinner scene, a lot of the audio is like over each other, and with most of the movie, a lot of the audio is almost over each other. In the van too, when they're traveling, you have like the one girl like just like talking to the driver, and you can't really even hear what she's saying, but all makes it feel like you're in that van, you're in that dinner scene with them, and everything is just so overwhelming. Like, it's almost like you're there. You can't take all that in if you're just like thrown into this situation. To me, it makes it feel more genuine. It makes it feel like I am being taken in by these people, or I'm just in this situation in general, and I can't take all this information in at once. Just adds to the anxiety of the movie almost, and especially with those close-ups, you feel like you're with this person, definitely Sally. You know, by the end, you're in this perspective for sure, and everything is just overwhelming, and you don't know what to look at, you don't know what to listen to, you don't know what to pay attention to. The horror of it is that everything is so overwhelming and chaotic. At least for me, when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, so much is going on at once that it just becomes anxiety-inducing, for sure. Yeah.
We should play a game.
You want to play a game?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Want to play a game?
You want to play a game? We have two categories for you. Do you want to do general horror or whose tagline is it anyway?
I'll do the whose tagline is it anyway?
Ooh.
Only if the
So-
audience can help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Leslie's gonna be your lifeline.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna give you a tagline.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to name what movie that is.
Will you give me choices?
No.
Okay.
So good luck. Here we
Be
go.
Be nice. I'm your father.
All right. The first tagline is "The night he came home." I'll give you the year if you want it.
No. Halloween.
You got it.
Yes!
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Number 2. A 24-hour nightmare of terror.
24-hour.
Everyone think. Think about it. Think about it.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No. Leslie, you want to help him out?
Leslie. I wasn't guessing. That was just me talking out loud.
That was just talking about
I believe
A
you.
24-hour nightmare of terror. I'll give you the year. 1980.
1980?
Is the movie.
24-hour. Leslie.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yep.
They made the title of this movie before they had the story. Good sounding title.
You only know this.
I only know this.
Is it a
I'm the
classic?
only person that knows.
Yes.
All these are classics.
24 hours of what?
You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a guess? What's up?
Friday the 13th.
You got it.
Yay!
Friday the 13th,
makes
a
sense.
24-hour nightmare of
Yeah,
terror.
makes sense.
1980. All right. You're one of two.
Ugh,
You
okay.
still have a chance to redeem yourself.
One more.
One more. Here we go. If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all.
I think you got this one.
You got this.
I know this one.
You do.
I think I know this one.
I think you do.
If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. Wake up.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
You got
Yay!
it! You will win a prize at the end of the show.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy Lee, you did it.
Woo!
Good job, good job, good job, good job. All right. We're having some good guests on so far.
Yes, we
So far,
have.
so good.
So far, so great.
I want to post a couple different ending questions about this movie.
Ooh.
Yeah. One of them is Leatherface a sympathetic character? Is he a sympathetic character? So
Why are you asking that?
let me pose my argument here.
Uh-huh.
So Leatherface, people come into his house and disrupt his property. And also, he is somewhat being commanded by the other people in his family. Like his uncle that we see later and this hitchhiker, which is I think his brother, are telling him to do things. And he, unless people like invade his house, really is unprovoked. So Leatherface is almost this like kind of boyish character that everyone else can kind of bully around and tell what to do.
Okay, to
know?
counterpoint that, how far is his home property? Because what is his name? Franklin and Sally were ways off.
This is true. But this is after people came into their home.
So he was expecting more people.
I mean, I'm assuming they were hungry.
They already have 3 human beings.
But this kind of goes back to this thing I'm talking about is like his uncle and his brother, I think, were telling him to do things, to go get those people. Go silence
But
these people.
he had no phone.
Of course, this is the 70s. No one has.
So what? Telepathically, he was being like, Leatherface, go kill these people.
Well, yeah.
No.
No. I'm just saying. He's kind
Okay.
of just thinking about our last scene with the dinner scene. The people that are around that table. Who do you hate the most? Or I guess who do you hate the least? Do you hate Leatherface, fucking Uncle Cook guy, or Hitchhiker dude? Because both those guys suck. I mean, they all suck. Obviously.
They all suck a lot.
But they were all. I mean, those two guys specifically were telling Leatherface to do things.
Well,
and commanding him
Leatherface
around.
wasn't talking. He was just, I'm a maniac,
Right.
maniac on the people.
Right.
Okay.
But not. I mean, but does he know better?
I don't know. He squealed like a pig.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
That's my point. Is like he has been raised by presumably Grandpa, who we see is the best killer. Also, this uncle guy who is cooking humans. And he's like kind of set up for failure in the first place. You
Right.
know?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This is all he knows is like cooking people and hunting them and things. This is what his life is.
I wouldn't
So-
call that sympathetic, though.
Okay.
It's just he was raised to be this.
Yeah.
So he has no sympathy.
Yeah, true. I mean, does he know sympathy at all?
No,
Yeah. Probably not.
not at all.
No.
He's wearing a leather face.
And we see 3 different leather faces in this movie. We see the man face, which is the first one that we see. We see grandma face, which is him in the kitchen with like the gray wig or whatever. And then we see the final pretty woman face, which is him at the dinner scene with like the makeup or whatever. So he has different faces that he puts on.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
I was not looking that close.
I was.
I did see when he was having that panic attack that there was some lashes attached.
That was like
to-
the man face, and then the second one when he came in, when they brought Sally back, was like the grandma one, and I mean we saw grandma upstairs with no face, so
Yeah, we
sorry,
did.
Grandma, I'm wearing your face, and then we saw the final one during the dinner scene where he has like he's got like the lipstick and like the like blush and the eyeliner going on. It's like that's the pretty woman one. So he has these like different faces that he puts on for different occasions, I guess. Just trying to dress up or dress down.
Yeah, that ain't a sympathetic person.
I'm not saying it's sympathetic, but I'm just saying this is his life.
Right.
This is like what he has grown up in.
How old do you think he is then? 17?
No, I was getting like 20, something like that. Yeah. But like still somewhat naive, I guess, of the world, and he's never seen any other world outside of his own world.
Right.
So he doesn't know what the city folk are like. He doesn't know what the beyond the rural, whatever his town is like. So
He does not take the time to ask any questions.
Well, because he can't speak. That's what he would sound like. So.
That's him asking a question.
That's him asking, "How are you today?" It's unfair, you know. It's unfair. A Leatherface.
To him,
I'm for
oh Lord, no.
you. I'm on your side.
No, we
I
don't.
think you're cool.
We don't want to spread that around.
All right. Well, fine. Last question I'll leave you with is this a happy ending that we get in this movie? Because yes, Sally, she escapes. She does
Right.
escape.
She does.
Woo, our final girl gets out.
Very, very bloody.
And she's
And
in that
slashed.
truck. That last shot that we get is her in that truck screaming / laughing while she's watching Leatherface in the distance doing his chainsaw dance. All her friends are dead. And she's the only one left. Kind of this like left like almost this like insane person.
Well, let's assess her wounds, right? She has maybe 2 to 3 hammers to the head. That's
Like
for
Grandpa.
sure, maybe like a concussion.
Thank you, Grandpa.
That ain't going to be good for the long run.
No.
She's lost blood and oxygen, and some maybe permanent damage to the brain. Second of all, her vocal cords. I don't know if she's going to be able to talk again.
She's like this for the rest of her life.
She's going to sound like a chain smoker.
She's gonna sound like a chainsaw.
Third of all, what's his face? Hitchhiker birthmark guy. He's dead. But before he was dead, he was grabbing his favorite blade or his lucky blade or whatever he called it and slashing her in the back
Yeah,
several times.
many times.
So I don't know how long she has to travel. So those can get infected. I don't know how many slashes she has.
At least 4.
So loss of blood. Lots of blood in the head and on the back.
Yeah.
Does she survive? Physically, I don't know. Mentally, absolutely not.
Definitely not.
No.
Physically, we can't really say, but mentally, I feel like she's pretty broken. Because a
Absolutely.
thing that we see a lot in this movie are people going back and forth between laughing and screaming a lot. Like, especially in that dinner scene, we see it a lot. And in that first hitchhiker scene that he's in the car, he is like going between like laughing and like grimacing and cutting people. It's like this weird like mixture of pain and pleasure that's going on through the whole movie.
Which
And
is
then
the
she
same
ends with
part
it.
in the brain.
Yeah. And she ends with it. Her last final thing that we see her doing is mixing this laughter and screaming pain.
Right.
So where is the line? Where is the line? And it's almost like she was pushed to that line by these people that we met in this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, if I was her, yeah, I would have definitely gone crazy.
Yeah. Fair.
Because I'm already there. So it wouldn't be really hard to.
Hey, I get what you mean, Sally. I get what you mean.
Do that for the next 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I dare you.
All right, let's get one more guest, huh? Shit.
Oh, wait, there's a name that you dropped.
Oopsie. You know what? That's gonna be the person.
Oh,
That's gonna be the person. Who is it?
I knew it.
Tim Ashby.
Yes.
Timothy Ashby.
Here. No.
Wait, oh.
Okay. Thank you, Adam.
Oh, hello.
Hello,
Woo!
Timothy Ashby. You've been on the
Yes.
podcast a couple times.
A few times,
Couple
yeah.
times. First of all, what'd you think?
My ears hurt. Need the aspirin. I did not like how Texas was represented.
You're
Oh,
from Texas.
I'm from Texas, so I'm very offended, but no, not at all. This, from what I've seen, this does not happen in Texas, so, you know. It's a big state, though. Who knows? But overall, I thought that y'all's commentary about what is going on in the rural areas and how freaky that is to people in urban areas that might freak them out. And I think it was kind of important that the people that were being killed were wearing the hippie printed dresses and everything, and I think that is important for why the people killed them. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. What you're saying, it's like you have this image.
Sure,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Juxtaposition of like,
Right.
We're seeing the rural people represented in a certain way, and then the people that are
Exactly.
in this van that are driving through the rural. I mean, they're all hippies.
Yeah.
We try to dress like them,
Yes.
essentially,
Mhm.
and they're the outsiders in
Exactly.
this context.
Sure.
where they're not used to being the outsider.
Right. Yep, totally.
that girl literally just came out of the van and was like, "My grandpa was buried here," and
Yeah,
like
it's
there's like an assortment of men that are drunk. And
Yeah.
one of them just grabs her by the arm and was like, oh, your grandpa's buried over here. It's like, you don't know who I am or who my grandpa is. Anyway.
And they were all, that scene, which is almost one of the first scenes that we have in the movie, is this graveyard full of drunkards that are like, essentially like left behind in society, essentially. And they're left to just drink their sorrows away in this graveyard. And that's the first thing that we see of these people. So,
Yeah. Agreed.
that is the end of my point.
Yeah. Well, and I also thought the very beginning was when you were saying it was very jarring because there were so many gruesome reports on the news, and it was just one thing after another. And while we're also being bombarded with this image of like a still, this is gonna be gross, but a juicy corpse, a few juicy corpses like on this stake, and it was just all so, oh my god, where are we gonna go from here? This is nuts. Yeah, it was fascinating, and it's also fascinating to see how, if that was the beginning of slasher films, where we've come since then, and how revolutionary this movie was in a lot of ways.
We were talking, I was talking to some people about this movie before we started watching it, where the idea of slasher movies doesn't really start until the 80s with like Halloween. Like I think in most people's brain is like the start of slasher movies. But this is 4 years before that.
Right.
So this was somewhat of pioneering that kind of idea of slasher movies. Very auditorially torturous, and very brutal, definitely. And also this idea of the outcasts of society being the ones that are inducing the pain and the terror on these people.
Yeah.
In this movie, it's the rural people. In Halloween, it is a mental institution escapee. In Friday the 13th, it is a handicapped kid that died in this camp. So this idea of the outcasts of society being our downfall because of how we treated them is like the horror. It's almost like, what did we do?
Yeah, right.
What the
We
fuck?
caused this.
We caused this.
Yeah. And on a production note, I will say to all filmmakers watching this, please pay your actors, because that's not a lot. And
No.
I also read somewhere that it was supposed to go on for 2 weeks, but it wound up going 4 weeks, and going into the infamous dinner scene that apparently a lot of the actors had to remove themselves from the set and throw up and just fan themselves off and probably drink a lot of water and then come back. Those are pretty appalling conditions. So,
I mean, that makes sense when there's actual meat on the table that's been rotting for hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have unions and things like that. So
Yeah.
But you know what? If the unions were around, we wouldn't have this movie. So
I don't know exactly. So and we wouldn't have slasher movies. So
thank you.
thanks, but no
Thank you,
thanks.
non-union.
Oh boy.
All right, hey, Tim, are you ready for some trivia?
Yeah. Can I pick? I'll pick general horror.
General
I think that's
horror. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, give Tim some love. Tim has been on one of the trivia episodes of the Deadlights pod.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I did the
It was
theme
fun.
song.
Theme
one.
song,
Yeah. So
you're ready for this.
This is the same thing.
Yeah, you're ready for this. All right, are you ready for question number 1?
Yes, I am.
All right. So Tobe Hooper
Oh crap.
directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, he did.
Can you name another movie that he directed? One more, just one other movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2
No.
is one thing that I thought about.
That's good. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
That wasn't your guess. I know that wasn't your guess. Steven Spielberg produced a big movie that he directed.
Oh, well.
Say it. Just say it.
I think it might be Poltergeist.
You got it!
Oh! Just off the top of my head.
Tobe Hooper directed Poltergeist.
Holy crap, that's incredible.
It was mostly Steven Spielberg. But still,
listen, but
he was there.
He was there. He took
He
the
showed
mantle.
up.
Yeah.
He showed up. Good job. You got number one.
Thank you.
All right. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was voted the second scariest movie of all time by Entertainment Weekly. Shut up.
Entertainment Weekly? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Cool.
What was voted the number one most scariest horror movie by Entertainment Weekly?
Okay, this isn't me actually saying this. This is me processing. I don't think it's Pixels.
It's not Pixar.
Okay, I don't think it's Jack and Jill. That's a scary movie.
You're getting closer.
Getting closer. Okay.
Entertainment Weekly.
Is that a clue?
No,
Entertainment.
it's not.
Oh wait, Entertainment Weekly, The Exorcist.
You got it.
All right.
Yay!
All right. And your final question, just for fun, because you already won the prize.
Oh,
Good job.
thank you.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the largest grossing independent film for 4 years until this other very classic horror movie came out in 1978. What was that movie?
Halloween.
Yes.
Oh!
You got it.
We talked about it.
Hey.
Woo!
100%. Good job, Tim.
Oh, thank you.
Good job. Hey, Tim, thanks for being on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I'm so proud of y'all. I
Thank
know
you.
I said that last time I was on here, but I gotta
Yeah.
say it again. I'm so proud
Thank
of
you.
y'all.
Thank you. You just
Thanks,
keep
bud.
the microphone back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, wow.
Wow.
Chainsaw Massacre. Holy
That
shit,
was-
from 1974.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, let's see how fantastic it actually was. Let's get into some Smash Pumpkins.
Ooh!
Let's go. So this is a part of the podcast where we actually rate the movie that we just watched. I'm curious to see what you think. Out of 5 Smash Pumpkins, what do you think?
Out of 5. Okay, I gotta respect what they did back then. First of all, being it completing a movie. That's pretty hard on its own.
It's hard to finish a movie, that's for sure.
It is hard to start a movie and
True.
to finish a movie.
This is also true.
So, okay, hooray for them.
Hurrah.
Hurrah for them. That's I mean, besides them creating a cult classic, wow. You know? Don't have anything else to say about that.
Okay.
It's a cult classic for for reasons I don't agree with.
Okay.
It hurt me. It tortured me. Which, if that was their goal, then hooray for them.
Hurrah again.
Hurrah, the second time. So I'm going to give it a 2.
2 Smash Pumpkins
Yes.
out of 5.
Woo!
2.
Yeah.
Fair. I think I'm gonna go just a little bit bigger than that. I do agree. You know, they were in the early '70s. They were trying to figure this stuff out. It was a very small crew. They were trying to figure this out with. Every time I see this movie, though, it is very effective. Like, no matter how many times I watch this movie, I am definitely disturbed and feeling scared in some way from this movie. And considering what they were using, I feel very impressed. And also, the idea of Leatherface as a monster is scary. You know, it's, taking the face of someone else and then putting it on your own face. That's fucking scary. That's creepy. And the production design. The production design is, to me, also another really strong part about this movie. I love the house. that we are in, the Leatherface house, is with all the bones and like the bone-made furniture is really cool. I love that. And the sound is incredible. I think the sound makes it the creepy movie that it is. So I personally am going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Smash Pumpkins.
Absolutely.
And it just makes me, it just makes me scared.
It makes you want to see it again.
And I want to see it again.
Yeah.
I want to see it again. Because I'm fucked up. You know what? Just because I'm fucked up, I'm going to put one more name. One more name.
Ooh, what are you going to ask?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, I see.
Matt. Matt. All right. Tim.
There you go.
Give Matt your.
What is
Matt?
Yes.
I would like to know, out of 5 Smash Pumpkins, what would you personally give it? And we go down to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So you can go really down to that decimal. What would you give it? And why?
0.5.
So it's the first time I've seen this.
Which is interesting. Okay, good. Raw.
The title, it delivers everything that's on the tin. It's in Texas, presumably. There are chainsaws. There's a massacre.
All of the
It's a
above.
5 movie.
So for me, it delivers. It's tense. I'm giving it 4.
4! We got a 4 from Matt. Wow.
Yes.
Very cool. I was curious. You know what?
One more?
One more.
You want one more?
I want to see what one more person.
You're asking for way too much.
Mari Duckler.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Mari Duckler, curious. Out of 5 Smash Pumpkins, what would you give it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, what you see is what you get. There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I will say that I did thoroughly enjoy it. Maybe not for the right reasons, like when she jumped out the window twice. I think that was my absolute favorite part of the whole thing.
If this was a comedy, then
Well, this was a comedy
higher.
She destroyed those windows.
Yeah, honestly, the comedic timing was perfect. But I actually really agreed and like resonated with what Leslie was talking about like the 27-hour scene work and getting that response from actors, and that's not the healthy way to go about it. And I even said to Tim, I was like, I really wonder what the conditions on that set were like, because I bet they weren't great. And because of that, I don't want to give it like a high score. Also, it was just really funny. I'm gonna give it a 2.1.
2.1. All right. Fair. All right. Well, that's enough. I'm done.
So we're ending it here.
One more.
Hold on. Look, the crowd asked for it, so
Absolutely.
let's give it to Jacob.
Ooh, right next
Right
door.
down in front.
Oh no.
All right, so
Yeah.
Jacob is in from Texas.
Oh.
He's from Texas.
Shout out Texas.
He is from actual Texas. So I am very curious.
Tim wasn't.
It's definitely
Lives in Texas currently.
yes.
I'm curious to hear what your hot take is on it.
It's definitely like that in Texas. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a lot of stereotypes. People always think we're riding around on horses and stuff. It's definitely not like that. But
It is where I'm from.
curious because you've never seen this movie before, right?
no, this is my first time.
All right. So as a first-time viewer, did it live up to your expectations? Did it
Definitely
fall
for being that old of a movie, I think it was pretty good. I think the production value was pretty good with being that old. So I think it lived up to its hype for sure. But being in this age is pretty funny to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 5 Smash Pumpkins, as a Texan, what would
As
you
a
give
Texan,
Or as a human being.
I give it a cool 3.3.
3.3.
Out
of Texan.
I like the cool
Shout out
3.3. Yeah.
Cool 3.3 from a Texan.
Yeah.
Wow, that feels.
I gave it a
Yeah.
bad 2.5.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or
You're
did
not-
I
you're
did
not
I do a 2? I can't remember
You did
now.
2. Yeah. That was about.
Yeah.
That was about 2 minutes ago. Well, wow.
Wow.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Live.
1970 live. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who came out to watch it and to be here as we do the show. I want to thank you so much. I also definitely want to thank Playground Social.
Yes.
Thank you. Love you, boys. Burgess, Rudy, Michael, Greenberg, everyone who's helped out. You have made this amazing. Love you so much. Anyone who's listening at home and has been listening for almost 30 episodes that we've done this for,
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening. Also, thank you to Preston who made this Deadlights beer.
So good.
Thank you,
Yes,
Preston
sir.
and the Perch. Thank you so much. And finally, I wanted to thank you, Leslie, because you and I have done this for almost 30 weeks in a row, and we've got to this point of doing a live show, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else except you. This has been so fun to watch just horror movies and just talk about them.
That is true. And thank you, Sam, for being this cool with this headband, providing the fucking set with your friends. Amazing. This is we've been talking about this for 30 some episodes,
Yeah.
so we're here.
Well, I'll see you in 30 more, huh?
Yeah.
I'll see you in 30 more.
Okay. I went for it.
Let's get out of this episode.
Absolutely.
Let's get the fuck out of this episode.
Well, y'all know where you can follow me at. I don't know if we're doing this.
Oh, we're doing it.
We're doing it? Okay. Instagram at Color Me Leslie.
And me, Beat GT. Also check out the Deadlights pod, that is us, and also Playground Social, which is the studio that we're recording this at.
Yeah.
But until next time,
Let's
let's
get
get spooky. Let's get fucking spooky.
fucking spooky.